Faithful in little, trusted with much. St. Luke 16 verse 10 tells us, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much." Welcome to Life is a Test. This is Exploring the Parables of Jesus, part 67. Think about these two scenarios. Olisha is a young cashier at a small grocery store. Day in and day out, she scans items, counts change, greets customers, and mops the floor at closing time. It's not a glamorous job, and very few people thank her, yet she shows up early, balances her till perfectly, treats each customer with respect, and never cuts corners. One day, the store owner pulls her aside and offers her a promotion. Why? Because he trusts her character and she was faithful in the small things. Now consider Melly, a Christian woman in a rural village who had just started selling goods at the school gate. When she began her business, she made a promise to the Lord. Whatever she earned, 1/10 would belong to him. That first week, business was slow, and she only earned $100. Still, on Friday, after counting her money, she faithfully set aside $10 for her tithe and put the rest aside. The next week, she earned $300 and joyfully set aside $30. As the weeks continued, Jennifer noticed something powerful. She was tithing more and more each week because her earnings kept increasing. This is exactly what Jesus is teaching in St. Luke 16 verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Jesus reveals that how we handle small assignments, unseen tasks, and everyday decisions is not just important, but a test of our character and readiness. In a world obsessed with titles, status, and the spotlight, God is quietly observing our private acts of obedience and consistency. The real question is not whether we want more, but whether we can be trusted with more. God pays close attention to how we manage what seems insignificant, which includes our time, our money, our conversations, and our daily responsibilities. Because these small things reveal the posture of our hearts. Faithfulness in these areas is the training ground for greater responsibility. If we mishandle what's in our hands now, why would God place more into them later? Jesus turns our human view of greatness upside down. While we may chase large platforms, he focuses on our small unseen habits. While we dream of leading thousands, he asks, "Can I trust you to lead just one? Can you be on time? Can you complete what you have started? Can you serve when no one notices or applauds?" True greatness in God's kingdom is not measured by how many people we impress, but by how consistently we obey even in silence and behind closed doors. It's never about the size of the task. It's always about the heart of the servant. Consider David. Before he ever sat on the throne, he was found in the fields tending sheep. He had no crowds, no recognition, and no title. Yet, when a lion or a bear came, he didn't run, but fought to protect what was entrusted to him. It was in those obscure moments that David's character was forged. Because he was faithful in a hidden place, God later entrusted him with a kingdom. Likewise, God is watching your field. It may be a classroom, an office, a home, a business, or a ministry no one sees. But if you are faithful there, He sees it, and in His time, He promotes those who have proven trustworthy. In St. Luke 16, verse 11, Jesus makes a direct connection between earthly stewardship and spiritual trust. Jesus gets intensely practical and shifts the conversation from theory to daily reality. He says, "If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches?" This is a thought-provoking question. And so Jesus is saying plainly, if you can't be trusted with temporary things like money, how can you be trusted with eternal things like souls, revelation, or spiritual authority? The way we handle money is not just about budgeting, it's about our heart. Money tests our values, our motives, and our priorities. How we manage our finances reveals whether we live under the lordship of Christ or under the influence of mammon, that false god that promises security but delivers spiritual emptiness. When we are dishonest, greedy, or careless with money, we send a clear message to God: I can't be trusted with more. Why would God entrust us with leadership, influence, or deeper revelation if we are unable to manage the most basic of resources? This is why tithing, giving, budgeting, and financial integrity are not merely economic activities, they are spiritual tests. Every paycheck, every spending decision, every act of generosity or lack thereof is an opportunity to prove our faithfulness. Are we kingdom-minded or self-centered? Do we hoard, cheat, or spend recklessly? Or are we demonstrating trust in God by being responsible and generous? Faithful financial stewardship says to God, you can trust me with more. It shows that we understand what stewardship really means. We know that everything we have ultimately belongs to God, and we are merely managers of His resources. So let us ask ourselves, are we trustworthy stewards of what we have now? Do we tithe joyfully and consistently, not out of guilt, but out of gratitude? Do we manage our finances with wisdom and self-discipline? Are we generous towards others, especially those in need? In St. Luke 16, Jesus drives home the point that God isn't measuring our worth or readiness based on the quantity of our resources, but on the quality of our stewardship. Whether you have little or much, the question still remains, can I trust you? In 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2, it says, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. Faithfulness isn't about impressing others, and it's not about public applause or being seen. True faithfulness is revealed in the private, unseen moments, when we show up even when we don't feel like it, when we give our word, return what we borrow, pay our bills on time, and walk in integrity. Being faithful with little also means remaining faithful during difficult seasons. Perhaps we find ourselves in a small church that feels overlooked, a job that barely pays the bills, or a season where our work seems to go unnoticed. But know this, God sees. He sees our quiet labor, our late nights, and our patient endurance. Not only does He see, but He rewards. As Galatians 6 verse 9 assures us, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So what little has God placed in our hands today? Maybe it's a job that feels mundane, but let us show up with excellence and integrity. Maybe it's a small congregation or group. Let us love them deeply and lead with care. Maybe it's a child, a student, or a neighbor who looks up to you. Continue to pour into them intentionally. Maybe it's a modest paycheck. We just need to budget wisely, tithe faithfully, and give generously. God isn't looking for flashy, famous, or flawless people. He's looking for faithful people who can be trusted when no one is watching. He listens for obedience in the quiet and watches your consistency in the small. So let us live faithful. Let us honor God with what we already have in our hands. Be steadfast in prayer, giving, serving, and loving. Because when we have passed the tests of the small, we will hear those powerful words. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. God bless you. Have an awesome day with a great God.